All right, my secondary math 2 class. It's been a minute since we've had some video notes, so let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so we are going to be talking about transversals, okay? So let's go ahead and define what this word actually means. Okay, so we are going to be dealing with 2 parallel lines. Okay, remember, parallel means they are never going to cross. Okay, well, the transversal is a line that goes down the middle of it, like that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and label that. Go ahead and do this in the top right corner of your paper. That is the transversal. Okay, that line that cuts between these 2 parallel lines. Okay, so these notes are going to go rather fast today, okay? Because the first 6 examples, we are simply defining the relationship, okay? So let's go ahead and define these guys. Okay, so identify each pair of angles as corresponding, alternate interior, alternate exterior, consecutive interior, vertical, or adjacent. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Okay, so let's look at number 1. So here we have our transversal, right? The line that's cutting between these 2 parallel lines. Okay, we have our 2 angles that it's giving us. Okay, well, we have a couple of questions we need to ask ourselves. In fact, let's write these questions down. Okay, same or different side of transversal. Okay, so that's the first question we're going to ask ourselves. Are they on the same side or on different sides of the transversal? Okay, our second question we're going to ask ourselves are they on the inside or outside of parallel lines? Okay, are they on the inside, meaning are they in between them, kind of like a sandwich, or are they on the outside? Sorry, I can't really talk today. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at number 1. Okay, so let's ask ourselves this first question. Are X and Y on the same side or different sides of the transversal? Okay, we see that they're both on the left side. So that tells us the word that means same side is consecutive, okay? In fact, let's put that under consecutive, same side. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start labeling this as consecutive. Okay, well, we have 2 options, consecutive interior or exterior. Okay, so let's ask ourselves the second question. Are they on the inside or outside of the parallel lines? Okay, let's go back. Are they on the inside, meaning between the lines, or the outside? They're on the inside, okay? So these are called consecutive, meaning same side, and interior, meaning on the inside, interior. Yeah, yep, I spelled that right. That looked weird for a second. Okay, so we named them. Well, now what we need to do is identify what these angles equal, okay? So when you add X and Y, so X plus Y, they are going to add to be 180 degrees, okay? So these add to 180 degrees, always. If it's a consecutive interior angles, which these 2 are, they add to 180 degrees. Okay, these notes are gonna be super important, super helpful on your test. Okay, number 2, let's ask ourselves these questions. Same side or different side of the transversal. So here's our transversal. Are they on the same side or different sides? Okay, well, one's on the left and one's on the right, so they're on different sides. Okay, the word that means different is alternate. Okay, so this is different. Okay, so since they're on different sides of our transversal, we're gonna go ahead and label this as alternate, meaning different. Okay, well now let's ask ourselves the second question. Are they on the inside or outside of the parallel lines? Okay, are they in between the parallel lines? Or are they on the outside? They're on the outside, okay? And that means exterior. Okay, exterior means outside. So these two are alternate exterior angles. Okay, well we know that alternate exterior, sorry, I really can't talk today, angles equal each other. Okay, so we're gonna write that right here, equal each other. And it is kind of going into number 4, that's okay. Okay, so number 2 are alternate exterior, and we know that these guys, x and y, equal each other. So whatever x equals degrees, that's going to be y as well. Okay, let's look at number 3. Okay, so these guys are kind of different. So we have angles that are right next to each other. Okay, we're gonna ask ourselves these questions, same or different side of the transversal. Okay, we can see that they're on the same, but then are they both on the inside or both on the outside? No, one's on the outside, one's on the inside. But notice, they're right next to each other. Okay, right next to each other, we can also say as adjacent, next to. That means adjacent. So if you live adjacent to your neighbor, that means you live next to your neighbor. Okay, so number 3, we're gonna label as adjacent angles. Okay, because they are right next to each other. Okay, we see that y is right next to x. Okay, well, what are they gonna add to? What are they equal to? Okay, hint, you see how they form this straight line? How many degrees is a straight line? Okay, so these two, whenever they're adjacent and they form a straight line, add to 180, and we're gonna put in parentheses, if they form a straight line. Okay, because they might be next to each other, but they might not create that straight line. Okay, so these guys are adjacent because they're next to, and they add to 180 because they form that straight line. Okay, well, let's look at number 4. Okay, what do you think? Actually, let's see. What don't we have? Okay, I'm actually going to change this one. I just thought about it. I'm making an executive decision, and I am gonna move y from right there to right there. Okay, so we have our x right there and our y right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and ask ourselves these questions. Okay, same or different sides of our transversal? Okay, they're both on the left, so that says same, but hold off on writing consecutive. Okay, are they on the inside or on the outside? Okay, well, one's on the outside and one's, well, yeah, they're both on the outside. Yep, okay, perfect. So, same side, consecutive. And both on the outside. Outside we know is exterior. Okay, well, same side. Let's see, that one would be 2. And they are, and consecutive exterior, just like their interior, sorry, I had to remember. Consecutive interior, just like these guys add to 180, our consecutive exterior also add to 180. So whatever you take x and y, they'd always add to 180 degrees. Okay, let's look at number 5. And I'm actually going to change this one a little bit as well. So I'm gonna move my y from there to there. Okay, so now I have my x and my y right there. Okay, so now let's ask ourselves a question. Same or different side of the transversal? Okay, one's on the left, one's on the right, so we know different, but are they both on the inside or both on the outside? We have both on, actually one is on the outside and one is on the inside. Okay, so we can't answer it as alternate, interior, or consecutive, those two. Are you guys looking for Mr. Barnes?
Yeah.
I think he's downstairs in room 1118.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, but notice how these angles are right across from each other. Okay, they're in the middle of that X and they're on opposite sides. They're right across from each other. Okay, these are what we call vertical angles. Okay, when they are right across from each other on that X. Okay, well, vertical angles are always equal to each other.
Good afternoon, Hawks. We have a few quick announcements before you leave school.
Pause on our video.
Our ballroom team has their concert today and on Monday at 7 p.m. Your tickets can be bought at tickets.showvation.com.
And Hawks, next week we have Spirit Week. On Monday, we're going to be having Merch Monday, wearing your favorite outfit here to school. More details for the following days coming up next week. That's it for today's announcements. And remember, Hawks, to soar to new altitude.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we know that when they form that X and they're right across from each other, they're vertical angles and they'll always equal each other.
Quick
Oh my
little
goodness.
update. The ballroom concert is on Friday and on Monday at 7 p.m. Still though, tickets.showvation.com. Thanks, guys.
Okay, hopefully that's the last interruption. Okay, they're always equal to each other. So if like Y was 50 degrees, then we know that X is also 50 degrees. Okay, let's do our last example before we try them out. Okay, well, number 6. I'm actually going to change these as well. Okay, so I'm going to move my Y from right there to right there. Okay, so we have our X and our Y. So let's ask ourselves, are they on the same or different side of the transversal? Okay, we see that they're both on the left. Okay, and then are they both on the inside or outside? Okay, well, one's on the outside and one's on the inside. So we can't label them as consecutive exterior because they're both not on the outside, or any of these guys because there's one out, one is out, and one is in. Okay, so how I want you to think of these guys is I want you, if we were to split this up into little Foursquare, if you ever played Foursquare in elementary school, 2 little Foursquare courts, okay? Notice that X and Y are in the same spot on the Foursquare court. They're both in the top left corner, okay? So this is what we label as corresponding. Okay, they're in the same spots on those little Foursquare courts, top left. Okay, well, corresponding angles are always equal to each other. Okay, so whatever Y is, that means X is also that degree, equal to each other. Beautiful. Okay, so let's practice these guys. Now that we know what we call them and what they're equal to, let's go ahead and try and see if we can find missing angles. Okay, so first we need to classify these angles. So it gives us 56 and this angle right there, which we're trying to find. Okay, so let's ask ourselves, let's identify, are they on the same side or different side of our transversal? They're both on the right and they're both inside our parallel lines. So that tells me consecutive interior. Okay, well, consecutive interior, let's look back at number 1. They always add to 180. Okay, so we're gonna take 56 plus our question mark, I'm just gonna call it X, and it equals 180 because both those angles will always add to 180. Okay, well, how do we find what our missing angle is? What's the opposite of a positive 56? subtract 56. Okay, so we get x is all by itself over here. And what is 180 minus 56? We get 124. So we know that our missing angle was 124 degrees. Okay, let's look at number 8. Okay, let's classify it. Same or different side of my transversal? Same, they're both on the left, but are they both inside or both outside? No, one is...
Hello to all our amazing
I'm so sorry.
Hey, this is just a reminder that at 3 p.m. today, we will be using the driver ed range. So if you would please make sure that you move your car from the driver ed range by 3 p.m., it would be much appreciated. We would hate for any car to get towed that leaves it there. This especially goes for our spring sports. Make sure you please move your cars off the driver ed range by 3 p.m. today. Thanks, and go Hawks.
Okay. A lot of announcements. It's making this video really long. Okay, so one is inside and one is outside. So maybe let's try and split them up into these 4 squares. Remember how we can split them into 4 squares? 2 little 4 square courts. There's my first 4 square court. And there's my second 4 square court. And you see how our angles are both in that top left, just like on number 6. Okay, well, we labeled that as corresponding. Okay, and what do they equal? They equal each other. So if this guy is 94, what is our missing angle? We'll label as X. That is also 94. Okay? So it's super important to know what our angles are equal to. Are they equal to each other like some of them, or do they add to 180? Okay, those are your notes for today. There is an assignment that goes with it.